One. Welcome to Catherine Biroy Show. Today, I am extremely grateful and honored because one of my favorite people in the whole world is here with me. Barbara Vercruysse is the combination of a brilliant leader with a huge heart. She leads with profound wisdom on human behavior, care for her clients, and a desire to help business owners and corporate leaders embrace a more compassionate leadership with creative, positive impact in the world. Barbara is a global kindness advocate, CEO and founder, awarded as #1 top 50 global thought leaders on mental health. Welcome, Barbara. I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, I'm so happy to be here with you today, Catherine. Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure always. Let's talk a little bit about powerful kindness. What is powerful kindness for you and why is it important?
Well, I think lots of people, if they hear the word kindness, most of them think about niceness, being nice. And in that way, kindness is often seen as a weakness because if you're nice, like it's as if you say yes to everything that comes your way. For me, kindness is something very different. Niceness is more, you could say, fear-based. We are nice out of conformity because our parents said that we had to be nice to people. We sometimes are nice because out of fear for conflict. We don't speak our truth because we're thinking that if we're not nice, we will have conflict. Kindness comes from a very different place. Kindness is love-based, and kindness is a choice. You choose to be kind regardless of the behavior of the other person. It comes from within you. It's an expression of who you are. So it's not as you don't do it because you have to. It's not out of conformity. You don't do it because you are afraid for the reaction of the other person. No, you are very centered, and you have, you could say that you have already dealt with a lot of triggers of people who were unkind to you, of people who critique you, people who have comment on you. You know, it's very common that when somebody says something which is not nice to you, mostly we're upset. Like it's like a big drama. Whoa, you hear what they say to me, and we see it all of the time on social media. People put like hateful comments. The person to whom it is addressed is upset. So if we learn, first of all, that what somebody else says is an expression of that person, and it has really nothing to do with you. But when you are triggered, there's something very interesting happening there. Because why are you triggered? Why does it upset you? Let's say I get a comment on social media where a person would say, well, Barbara, you always happy and nice. You don't know what it is to live a difficult life. I would not get upset. I have I have overcome quite some difficulties, and I wouldn't get upset. If somebody would say, well, your last business was a failure, then maybe I would already be a little bit more triggered. And why would that be? Because within me, maybe I'm still dealing with something. Or somebody else could get triggered when they are called, well, you're a bad leader, or you could say somebody is called not beautiful, somebody who pays a lot of attention to the physical appearance, somebody else, it could be to his achievements. So whatever is triggered is something you haven't healed yet, you haven't dealt with yet. So, but when you are, the path of powerful kindness is a path we walk and we observe those triggers and we work around them and we move on. And then in training ourselves, we can even go beyond you could say the rudeness, the ugly comment, and have compassion for that person and see where it stems from. Why does somebody feel the need to be hateful to you? Only a hurt person hurts another person. When you feel, like good in your skin, you're in a happy place, you're fulfilled in life, you share your love and joy, it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up in whatever you are in your complete energy to be hateful towards someone.
So can we say that actually it is something within them which is making them maybe even unconsciously behave like that? And on the other side, we can choose if we're going to respond or react, right?
Yes. It's about first becoming aware that you have the choice. Most people react unconsciously, but once you can see that you can, like take a deep breath, take a step back, and not go, like let your impulse react, but just take a step back and see what's happening really. And then it's not about becoming a doormat. It's about choosing your response, but without the upset of the ego, without all the emotions like the ego which is attacked. You can step back. Maybe there is some truth in what the person is saying. Maybe we made a mistake, but that's no big deal. We can correct that. We don't have to feel personally attacked. Maybe we are falsely accused of something, but then we can just in a calm and gentle way speak our truth without becoming hateful or without the drama. It's always the ego which loves the drama, like the drama around the I person, but in powerful kindness, we need a certain level of maturity, a certain level of balance to walk that path. And unfortunately, we are not really seeing a lot of examples, and we are not taught that in school. The most examples we get is the opposite. We see immature people, like fighting with each other.
Yes.
There is no openness for the perspective of the other person. And even for many people, it is unthinkable to, you could say, to have a good connection with another person which has a different perspective than yours. That's a sign of maturity. Let's say I'm a right-wing person and somebody I know is a left-wing person, but appreciating a person really deeply and even knowing that political views, religious views, views on, you could say, climate are different. That's and I think that's a part of the kindness. Then you can build bridges. If you say, well, I'm let's say I'm a climate fanatic, and someone I know is a climate denier. He says, like climate change, it doesn't exist. When I start to judge that person, when I say and I point, you are wrong, he will go even more in defense.
Yes.
When you are in that powerful kindness, you stay open. And you say, I can understand that that's your perspective. I can see where it comes from. I can see where you get your information from. But maybe you might consider what this and this and this, like scientific study proves. So you are open. And when the kindness is open, is in a non-judgmental place. And that's when that's why I'm so stressing so much on it as the future for humanity, as very necessary for humanity, because we're in a stage now, in humanity where it's no longer the choice between, you could say, violence and non-violence.
Mm-hmm.
The choice is between non-violence or non-existence.
Mm-hmm.
If we will not walk the path of kindness, compassion, non-violence, we will get destroyed. We are almost destroyed right now. We destroyed the climate out of greed. We are having wars.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really want to evolve as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to overcome, you could say, like the or lower, the part of us, the lower nature, or which is very primal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it starts in education. It starts in what we teach our children,
Mm-hmm.
in all layers of society. And it's something, it is hard. We all know it. It can be hard.
If there is a
First,
little bit, mhm, if there is a little bit, just a little bit of heart openness,
yes,
a little bit more kindness and
yes,
understanding, as you just said, I firmly believe there will be much less conflicts in the world.
absolutely.
And this is why I
Absolutely.
see your work so important, because people on a positional leadership, they like decline kindness.
Yes,
They are
absolutely.
ego-centered. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, if we just imagine if we can get to the people who are on positional leadership, we as
Mm-hmm.
inspirational leaders are usually heart opened, but they're not, and they're making the decision. So your work is not just, as people say, about being nice, as you mentioned
No,
at the beginning,
no, no,
is a
not at all.
complete level of humanity shift, of awareness, of much higher consciousness, which is very important. I am honored to call you my mentor. And that's one of the most beautiful things which ever happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know your story, but I
Mm-hmm.
would like my audience to know what you have been through and how you came to be what you are now. If you like to share a little bit, please.
Yes, sure. Um, First of all, I would like to say that since childhood, I was very sensitive
Mm-hmm.
and I have always been called too kind. People would say, "You're too kind for this world. Like, Barbara, you will never be successful. You will never achieve anything because you're just too kind." I even missed, when I was 28, a management position because psychological tests showed me that I was so compassionate. So
Mm.
I hope in the meantime, that's 25 years ago. I hope in the meantime
They
that
changed tests.
they have adapted psychological tests
Mm-hmm.
and that you cannot miss a job because you're too compassionate. So that just but as I was growing up from childhood, you could say that more and more I got conditioned and molded into our system which says you have to go, like high school, college, get a degree, marry, get a job, the title, and that's the key to happiness. It's not that I was unhappy. I just believe the story. Now I don't anymore. Now I
Me
know
too.
it's a lie. It's not. It's not outside there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the age of 32, in April 2003, I was diagnosed with a stage 4 skin cancer, and I was told that I had 6 more months to live. At that time, I was running my construction business since 5 years. I was married since 5 years, and I just had my youngest son, who was 2 months old, around 8 weeks. So we had 3 children in 4 years. I had one of 3.5, one of 2.5, and a newborn. So you can imagine at 32, when you're told you have 6 more months to live, it's quite a shock.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I want to share 2 major lessons from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, very important lesson that I have, that is that I might not have had control
Mm-hmm.
over what happened to me, the circumstance,
Mhm.
the cancer was there, and I had to trust in the doctors, in the treatments. I had 2 surgeries and a year of chemotherapy. I
Mhm.
had to have the trust in them, which I had. But there was one thing that I had control over,
Mhm.
and that was my mind, my mindset, how I would respond to the situation.
Mhm.
That was in my power. And
Mhm.
I realized it very quickly, because the first night in hospital, I was laying in bed, and it was the first time in years that I had been without children or babies as a young mom. And I
Mhm.
was alone and looking at the ceiling. I'm very, very worried about the children. I think every young mom would be, like children away. And then really quickly, I made a shift and I told myself, okay, Barbara, where the children are now, they are in a loving place. They were with my parents and parents-in-law. They
Mhm.
are so young. They do not realize what's going on. They
Mhm.
think they're on a
Mhm.
holiday.
Mhm. Mhm.
So no need to stress yourself with these thoughts.
Mhm.
No need to get sad or negative about that situation. It is what it is.
Mhm.
And then I asked myself, okay, what is in my power right now to help myself? And it was to stay positive
Mhm.
and joyful, which might seem very, like far off.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I knew that that would help my health. It would strengthen me.
Mhm.
Staying positive would strengthen me.
Mhm.
So that was a very important first, like realization of the power we have within.
Mhm.
Whatever circumstance is outside us. Some people, like live in very horrible circumstances. Others
Mhm.
have more like quiet circumstances in life. But we always have the power. How do we deal with the situation?
Mhm.
First lesson. Second lesson was like, okay, Barbara, if this ends not well for you, if you die in 6 months,
Mhm.
are you happy with your legacy? And
Mm.
the answer was no. I was not happy.
Mhm.
Because at that moment, like being faced so acutely with death,
Mhm.
I knew that I have lived the life up to the expectations of others.
Mm.
I had lived the life that I thought that a good person would be leading. So most of my choices in life were unconscious and based, you could say, on the programming of culture, society, peers, parents.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I made a promise to myself. And I said, okay, if you survive this horrible situation, if you survive, I promised myself that I would take this second chance with both hands. And I would leave a legacy which felt fully aligned with who I was. And that was leaving that legacy of kindness is a strength. Kindness is not weakness. And the world needs more kindness.
Mhm.
So, and that's what I've been doing ever since. Of course, it's, like long story short.
I am always speechless when I hear your story. And I know that you know that I know the story.
Yes.
But what is so powerful about it is who you have became
Hmm.
after the experience which you had. It was
Hmm.
such a challenging experience.
Hmm.
And look at you now. I'm just
Yes.
one of the people and the hearts you have touched. There are, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who you are touching daily with your powerful message. And as I said, I have an honor for you to be my mentor. You actually launched the mentorship program
Yes.
around this, and I'm a
Hmm.
part of it. And I would
Hmm.
like to share with my audience the amazing place that you have created to help all of us to step up and actually become true leaders in
Yes.
that wings of powerful kindness. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. And if you would like to share a little bit about it, I would be very, very honored if someone would decide actually to
Yes.
join us.
Well, I created the mentorship program because I felt there was a need.
Mhm,
Many people in the self-development space are still very much about achieving, like something outside them. It's
mhm,
about, like growing your business, growing your following, becoming someone. Um, it's about attracting money, attracting abundance. And what I have seen happening
mhm,
in my life, as you know, I have studied with a lot of mentors, spiritual mentors, and I
mhm,
have read like hundreds, if not 1,000 books. Um, that is that the only place where real change is powerful is within.
mm,
We trying to change your circumstances is wasted energy.
mhm,
Trying to say, well, I want to have a multi-million-dollar business. Um, Maybe one day you can have that. But if you don't embody
mhm,
that balance, maturity, and kindness,
mhm,
that money will not fill you up, will not fill up who you are.
mhm,
Whatever title, whatever amount of money, whatever it is that you want,
mhm,
you don't need that to be someone.
mhm,
You are someone. And in the mentorship program, I really help, you could say, having those profound insights and like an onion peeling, like peeling
mhm,
and going to the essence.
mhm,
And if we have, like that balance, the yin and yang, where our spirit is fully aligned
mhm,
with who we are we open to spirit,
mhm,
that's when the magic happens in our lives. It's, of course, we need a direction, but we have to be very aware if we set goals,
mhm,
that many people set goals from you could say, based on their wounds
mhm,
and conditions.
mhm,
It's based on their conditioned perspective on life. They think they need the title and they need a certain amount of money to be someone,
mhm,
to be fulfilled. But we are all born with a seed in our hearts,
mhm,
with a seed of who, of how we can develop.
mhm,
And let's say, Catherine, you are born as a rose.
mhm.
Me, I'm born as an orchid. And society tells us we all have to become tulips. So maybe
Mhm,
because you believe that, you come to me as a coach and you say, Barbara, I want to become the most beautiful tulip. Well, let's go to the core. Are you born to be a tulip?
mhm,
No, maybe you are a rose. And maybe you want to become, let's say, you want to become a very successful business owner, but maybe you're just that very creative. You're born as an artist,
mhm,
and running a business, multi-million-dollar business, is not, like who you are. Maybe you're very artistic, but
mhm,
in getting fully aligned and in allowing
mhm,
creativity to rise up, you
mhm,
can maybe become, with a little patience, because people lack a lot of time patience, you can become a very successful artist,
mhm,
and you will be very, like a lot more fulfilled
mhm,
than if you had forced yourself in the mold to become a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur
mhm,
because you were told by society that that is the way that you become somebody. So
mhm.
we each have a seed. Discovering that full alignment. It took me quite some time too. I like to get out of the closet and tell to people, well, I'm all about love and kindness. I was a construction business owner, remember?
Yeah.
In the beginning, people were saying, oh my God. Some people thought I was joining a cult.
Oh
They
my
say
God.
she joined the cult. She has gone completely crazy. And it took me, you know how scary it can be
I know.
to expose yourself in public.
I know.
And but fortunately, very quickly, I was supported by so many people that I was okay. And you know, like my fainted heart, who my first videos, I was very like, okay, let's see what's going on here. And it's the support of so many that I was like, yes, this is my path. This is for me. So each one of us, and maybe you're, you know, like crazy about numbers, and your father said you had to become a lawyer, but you really want to go in. It's just with the mentorship program. We just go inside and we unfold, we undo from the unnecessary burdens, and have this, you could say, spiritual practices to see how you can really blossom.
Mhm. I never said this in public, but I will now take a chance because you are one of the first people who actually believed in me when I was taking my first steps.
Mm-hmm,
And thanks to you and to several more people like you, I
mm-hmm,
started to believe that there are more of us who
uh-huh.
believe in love. When I say love, I think about high level creative
Yes,
frequency,
yes, yes.
who believe in kindness, who believe in
Mm-hmm,
generosity, and who can
mm-hmm,
really make a difference. And
yes.
thanks to you, I made my first steps toward alignment in my own purpose. And I have
Mm-hmm,
to say that my life was never better,
mm-hmm,
but not that circumstances around me changed so much.
mm-hmm.
I've changed. I loved
Yes.
myself to open my heart. I
Mm-hmm,
allowed myself to walk on that path, as you say, the
mm-hmm,
path of powerful kindness, which is
mm-hmm,
in alignment with who I truly am. And I'm
mm-hmm.
forever grateful to you. And I want you to know, and I said it publicly, how convenient.
Thank you, thank you. You're really,
You
really
mean a
kind.
lot to me, a lot, and I want you to know that. And I know
Mm-hmm,
that you touched so many people along the way, and still you managed to do all of these things that you are doing. And you are writing a book,
mm-hmm.
right? Which
I'm in the
we
process.
expect to be to be published in the next few, I guess, months, years.
Months, yes.
Would you like to share a little bit about it? Because I can't wait. I read a
Yeah.
little bit and I'm honored
Yes.
that I did that, but I can't wait to see how that will unfold.
Well, in everything I do, there's one big mission, and that's impact and influence. It's you know, my business, it's, of course, I need an income, and I need, you know, like we have 3 young adults, and
Mhm,
I'm running a thriving business. But my main drive
mhm,
is to have maximum impact and influence,
mhm,
have that ripple effect of kindness.
mhm,
And I know that a book can give that impact and influence.
mhm,
So in teaching the world, maybe teaching or rediscovering, make them rediscovering the power of kindness, make them rediscover how unbalanced we are and how we're completely in the male energy and in the mind, and
mhm,
we forgot all about, we pushed the female and the heart like in the little corner in so-called softness, no,
mhm,
like sentimentality. We pushed it there like
mhm.
it's lesser value. And the result is that we live in a world
As
which
we live
is
in. Yeah.
ugly, which is unbalanced,
Mhm,
which is based so much on grief, greed.
mhm, mhm,
So, in giving those insights in the
mhm,
book, how in everyday life, because I'm very much a believer of practice what you preach,
mhm,
in being a role model. And that's why I say it's not easy.
mhm,
It's not easy because it's easy for me, Catherine, in front of the camera to talk about kindness. But
mhm.
when I go to the living room and my son left a mess, how do I do that with powerful kindness? You know, it's about those day-to-day encounters. We
Mhm.
go to the grocery store. The man of the grocery store is grumpy. How
Mhm.
do we do that?
Mhm.
How we smile. We have a little chat. If he decides to stay grumpy, well, that's his problem.
Mhm.
So it's those everyday encounters. So in the path of powerful kindness, first of all, it's about the realization, the power we have,
Mhm.
the difference with the niceness. So the big difference between kindness and niceness. And also that it's a more evolved way of being a human,
Mhm.
that it's the future for humanity. It's something you could say that humanity is still in its adolescence. You know, a lot of drama, a lot of soul searching, looking for your identity. We're still there. So, but now it's time that we go into adulthood,
Mhm.
into more being more responsible,
Mhm.
into being more mature, in having like the bigger perspective.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the intention of the book.
I absolutely love it. And it looks like as humans, we have created systems, but we didn't pay attention to who we truly are and why we are
Mm-hmm,
truly here. And
mm-hmm,
if we can help each other to grow in the way that you just described, I believe that's the right way to evolve as human beings with not having
yes.
what is happening now in the world. And I'm forever grateful that I know someone who is really walking the talk, and I know that
Mm-hmm,
you are, and who is
mm-hmm.
creating so much and touching so many hearts, because that is truly your legacy. And I believe it will live forever. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
We'll have a little bit of fun now. You know that
Yes.
second part. Yeah. I will ask
Yes.
you a few burning questions, but it's simple.
Mm-hmm,
Since you read so much and
mm-hmm,
you presented in public so many books that you have read and you
mm-hmm.
talked about it, and I saw that people are loving these posts. Would you like to share with us? You have like 10 seconds to answer to me. You know that?
I hear the question coming. I hear the question
What is
coming.
your favorite book?
That question is almost impossible to answer. But if there's one book
Mhm, mhm.
that I always go back to and reread, it would be The Prophet of Khalil Gibran.
Oh, and why? This is not like 10
It's
questions.
very profound insights on love and on living in love.
Mhm,
And it's written in a very poetic way. He worked 25 years to finish that book, and it's only, I think, 80 pages, 100 pages. Um, and it's simple
mhm,
and very deep.
mhm,
So
mhm,
to be able to write a book which is simple but so profound is incredible, knowing that it took him 25 years to
mhm,
finish that book. But I can just open, like whenever I feel like I'm not in alignment, I
mhm.
open and I read like 3-4 pages and I'm like, I'm
Mm,
in another place again.
wonderful. Thank you for sharing. If you have any, what do you like
Mhm.
to do at your spare time?
Well, read. Read mostly.
What a
I
silly
love to
question.
read. Yes, I love to read.
And what would your advice be, especially to people who are on a high level position leadership places when
Mhm.
it comes to kindness, or to us, inspirational leader? How we embrace and really walk that talk?
For leaders, I think the most important thing is
Mhm,
whoever you encounter,
mhm.
you make them feel like they matter to you. They
Wow,
matter.
this is
And
so
it's as simple as that.
it is so deep. Now my heart is jumping. Okay. Tell us a little bit where people can find you, how they can reach out to you. You are launching the mentorship program, but you also do
Mhm.
coaching,
Yes.
and you have a lot of other beautiful things. If you would like to
Mhm.
share, please do so.
Well, the easiest thing is just to go to my website, which is my name, barbaravercruysse.com.
Mhm.
You can find me on LinkedIn too. and connect. Like I'm quite reachable on LinkedIn too. I think those are the two places to really get to know my work.
Thank you so much for being my guest.
Yes.
This was an honor and a pleasure for me, like always. And I really enjoyed, and I hope you did too.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.